Hey guys, Ashton here again. Today we're going to take a look at my Creed collection. It's not the greatest Creed collection on earth, but it's decent enough. I'm always on the lookout for new bottles, maybe older batches or fragrances that I don't have from the line. So it's not a complete lineup, but maybe I'll get there one day. And there's one notable exception that I don't have, which is Original Vetiver. I used to have it, but I don't have a new bottle yet. I'll pick it up eventually. I do have a couple of decants here of Jardin d'Amalfi and Creed Spice and Wood. I got the decants to decide whether or not I wanted to buy a full bottle. Spice and Wood, I probably will. Jardin d'Amalfi, not sure, maybe. It's really nice, but we'll see. So I guess we'll start off with the Aqua Original line. I have Cedar Blanc and Asian Green Tea from that line. These are the only two that I have at this point. You can see that Asian Green Tea is missing a lot more. They're both really nice. I don't like them as much as most of the other ones from their normal line, but they're decent enough. I have Neroli Sauvage. Maybe I'll scoot these back. It's a 4-ounce bottle that is almost empty at this point, but it's overlooked a lot of times. A lot of people don't talk about that from Creed, but it's really nice. And then Royal Water, which is probably the cheapest Creed that you can get. That one's also really low. With Royal Water, I also picked up, not that one, a little 1-ounce bottle on the cheap that I found, which this is the older formulation of Royal Water, which is super obvious when you compare the two. The coloration is way different from the new versus the old. And the old also had these cool kind of see-through caps that you don't really get anymore. Himalaya, I've got a couple bottles because this is the new style and this is the old. You can tell the sprayers are way different. All of the older bottles have this type and the newers have the different atomizers here, and the new caps click into place, whereas the old ones just kind of fit on and spin around and stuff. So yeah, like so. The old ones also sprayed a lot better, and sometimes you get a little bit of a batch variation, so you get a difference in smell between the old and the new. Let me reach over here. Millesime Imperial, same deal. This is newer, this is older, and there's also a bit of a difference in the coloration between these two juices. You probably can't tell so well on the camera, but this one is a little more yellow. The new one is almost clear. So with Creed, they're really known for having a weird, wonky kind of quality control. The fragrances can change what the dominant note is dependent on what batch you get, which is most obvious with the Ventus. Everybody always talks about those batch variations. Don't know why that is, don't know why they can't get that straightened out, but it does actually exist. If you compare a few different batches of a certain fragrance, you'll notice maybe the top notes in one are more powerful than the other, and they have maybe slightly different dry downs, etc., etc. So here is a bottle of Zesty Mandarin Pamplemousse. It's an eau de toilette. The Creed bottles that come with this gray cap are EDTs rather than EDPs. You don't see those talked about too often, but there are some really nice ones. Here's my bottle of Original Santol. I don't have a cap for it, I'm lame. And this one is also getting fairly low. So you get a lot of comparisons to Mont Blanc Individual and even Youp Homme from this one. So it really depends on personal preference. Some people say Individual is better, some people say Original Santol is better. Individual did come out first, so maybe Creed copied Mont Blanc, who knows. Next up is Creed Tabarome Millesime, and this is one of the newer releases. It's a ginger tobacco scent, and really there's not a ton of tobacco in it, in my opinion. There's a lot more ginger than there is tobacco, but it's a nice wearable fragrance. Discontinued or vaulted Creed. This is Royal Delight. I haven't really worn it that much because I don't really want to use it up. But it's a nice leather scent. It's a little unisexual. Some people say that it even leans feminine. I guess that depends on how you view the fragrance. All right, Virgin Island Water. This is not the blue cap, so it's not one of the older ones, but it's a super great summer scent, coconut and citrus. It gets comparisons to Tommy Bahama Set Sail St. Bart's, which is a great fragrance on its own. Virgin Island Water is better in my opinion, but I mean, if you're paying that much, then it should be better. All right, Creed Europa, which is another great summer scent that gets overlooked most often for Virgin Island Water, but it's unique. I enjoy it. I've worn it a lot, obviously. One of the Kings, Green Irish Tweed. I have a couple bottles. This is one of the newer, and this one is older. I believe this is a 2013 batch. Yeah. So Green Irish Tweed is one of my very favorite fragrances. Perfect in spring, perfect in summer. I would just wear it about any time. It gets comparisons sometimes to Cool Water or even Aspen, which I have a bottle of somewhere. And it's strange. Some people will say Aspen smells absolutely nothing like Green Irish Tweed. Others will say it smells very similar. I think that there are some similarities, but it's really obvious which one is superior. And it's not Aspen. Next is Bois du Portugal, which is a really nice woody scent, masculine, kind of an old school fragrance, but it's done in a really nice way. It doesn't smell horribly dated or anything like that. Royal Oud, which is another great one, more modern release. You get a lot of cedar in that one. There is a little bit of oud, but honestly it's not the dominant note. Doesn't matter though, it's a fantastic fragrance. Silver Mountain Water. I've got two, older batch, newer batch. It's a really nice, bright fragrance. That Armagh Derby Clubhouse Blanche is a good clone of it. It's good for spring, good for summer. It's a unique fragrance. It really kind of pops, especially in the hot weather. It's very unique. Another more modern release, Royal Mayfair, has a really cool eucalyptus note. It's fairly expensive, where I guess it's new. It's expensive even on Beauty Spin and Fragrance Net. So it's a little more difficult to pick up than the others. I really enjoy it. The community, it seems kind of mixed. Some people really like it, some people don't, so whatever. Green Valley, which is another vaulted fragrance, which sucks because it's an awesome fragrance. Really, really like it. I picked up this 1 ounce bottle that only has like maybe 13 or 14 mils left, but somebody was selling it for only like $20, so I had to pick that up as well. But this one is getting more and more difficult to find. Be careful if you buy it on eBay. If it's coming from like Bulgaria or Russia, then it's fake. Don't buy it. And then last but not least is a Ventus. I have 3 bottles at this point. And that's because of the whole batch variation thing. I wasn't for sure if different batches really did make that much of a difference because everybody talks about it. But until you check it out, you're not sure for yourself. So these guys, the 2.5s, are from 2014 and 2015. And then this little 1 ounce is from 2013. So each one of them does have a different smell. The 2013 is smokier than these two, and these two are different from themselves. One of them is a little smokier, one's a little more pineapple heavy. And there's actually a thread, I think maybe on base notes, that has every single batch code almost of a Ventus, and then like a description of how good they are and of what's dominant and like which notes pop out the most. So you can Google that and check it out if you're curious. It'll kind of, if you have a Ventus, it will tell you kind of a rundown of how yours compares to others. I don't have any 4 ounce bottles, but I may pick them up at some point. It just depends on what becomes available and what I'm looking for, etc., etc. I do have a couple of backup bottles that I got from FRAGRANTICA. There's like a Milla Imperial, Virgin Island water, and just a couple others, but they are like the new style of atomizer. On occasion, you can look on, actually on FRAGRANTICA's own website, they had testers of Royal Princess Oud going for something like $50 at one point, 75 ml bottle. They fixed it since then, but they will occasionally screw up their prices, and then you can get hooked up really well. Another thing that you can do, obviously, is go to the Facebook fragrance groups, and people are constantly moving Creed bottles there, sometimes at really nice prices. And last but not least, sometimes you can check eBay, which is it's a tricky place. You have to know what you're looking for. Occasionally there will be sellers there that are selling bottles for a really great price, and actually sometimes FragranceNet on their eBay account will upload bottles at a really great price, and you can scoop them up there. Really the main thing with getting a great price on Creed bottles is patience. You have to be willing to wait, and sometimes wait a long time, for a good deal to pop up of a legit bottle. Yeah, and there are a lot of ways to check and make sure that Creed bottles are authentic or not authentic. I may make a video on that in the future, but if you Google it, you'll get all kinds of information there. In terms of what to look for on the bottles and the packaging and the atomizers themselves, all kinds of different things. Just a couple of really quick tips without actually going into too much detail. If you ever see a Creed package on eBay or anywhere else that has cellophane wrapping, it's 100% fake. So any Creed that you ever see that's wrapped, it is completely fake. So like, oh. Here's my Bois du Portugal box right here. So if this had like wrapping around it, like cellophane that you'd have to take off, not real, ever. Creed bottles, if you buy them new, the box will always come just like this, just loose, and that's how it should come. Another thing, if they're coming from, like I said, Russia, Bulgaria, anywhere like that, they're fake, don't buy them. And if the box comes with like a little sleeve that sits over top of it, like you'll see a sleeve with like graphics for a Ventus. I've seen sleeves with like Napoleon on it, which tries, I guess, to make the box look fancier. Those are fake. Creed doesn't make those. Always fake. So yeah, those are just a few things that you can look at. There are a whole bunch more that maybe we'll go into detail in some other video. But that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and maybe I'll add some more to these in the future and give an update at some point far off in the future. Until then, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks.